Hello everyone, welcome back. It's Emily Elizabeth, and today I wanted to talk about how I pay for grad school. I had a couple of people asking me that they wanted to see more grad school related videos, and specifically how I pay for grad school itself.
Caught in an action, I can't rewind. And in my head, I'm screaming, but out of my mind, I'm still too young to feel this way.
So, for those of you who are new, I am studying to be a speech-language pathologist, and for this career field, whatever you want to call it, you have to go to graduate school to get your master's degree. I had the fortune of having my parents support me through my undergraduate degree, my bachelor's degree, and I graduated already with that. But they were kind of like, if you get your master's, you're on your own, which I already knew I was going into this field, so I already knew I was going to have to get it. How do I pay for graduate school? Well, first of all, I picked a program that wasn't so expensive, only because people don't really care where you got your degree from in this field. Eventually, they really want to see your experience and your knowledge base and what you took from grad school and how you're applying it in the field. So getting your master's degree and your bachelor's degree is just a box that you have to check. They don't really care what you did before. You have it, great. What's next? So that is kind of, I guess, my first tip of advice is, yes, there are programs that are more expensive and they're going to tell you that their program is better than others, and while there are a lot of programs that may have many more resources, I guess you could say, they're all basically the same. They all have the ASHA standards that tell you what they have to teach you, if that makes sense. So all of them have to follow those same guidelines, and they're all teaching you the same thing. So whether you pay $100,000 or $40,000, whatever it is, it's still the same education, I guess. You do have probably different access to different things and more opportunities that way, but I didn't want to spend the money on a very expensive school because I am paying for it. Not that I would make my parents, but you know, it wasn't worth it for me personally. And I wanted to stay in state, not in Boston. I know I live in Massachusetts, but I did not want to go to school in Boston. I know that's hard to believe. So how do I pay for my education then? My first thing is that I'm not paying for it right now. So I did apply for financial aid, and it was not as hard as I thought it was going to be. I was kind of nervous because I did everything from A to Z on my own. I walked through every process that it took me through, and you kind of just follow its steps. They'll send you emails on what to do next, yada yada yada. So basically with financial aid is you tell them what school you're going to, log on to this website and kind of follow their directions. You put in all of your information, you put in your tax information. You're basically saying, hey, I really can't pay for this on my own and I need help, which that's where I am right now, and I'm sure a lot of you are too. And don't feel ashamed to get financial aid because you're investing in your future. It's gonna pay off so much later on anyways. At this point, if you're thinking about how you're gonna pay for it, you've probably already got in. And if you haven't gotten into grad school yet and you're thinking about it, don't let the money hold you back from this experience, because it's gonna pay off so much at the end. Even if you're not going into speech pathology, it's gonna pay off faster than you think. In total, I'm probably gonna spend about $40,000-ish, give or take. Probably maybe a little bit more with there's always a little bit more, plus books and stuff like that. It's a pretty reasonable price for a master's degree, in my opinion. So we follow the steps to financial aid. You put in your tax information and then you send it out. And then they send you an email saying, we'll be in contact with you. We saw that you submitted this and we'll let you know when it's processed. Then a couple days later, you get another email saying that it's been processed and whatnot. And what they do is they send it to the school that you're attending. And they say, how much are you willing to give? Because I kind of had this misconception that the government or something gives you the money, and it's like yes to a degree, but your school does. Your school figures out how much they're gonna loan you. They kind of say, we know how much our programs cost. This is how much you're gonna need. They tell you that. And so after that's all processed and figured out, you get another email. So make sure you're on top of your email, and they let you know, hey, you're good, basically. If for graduate students, at least at my school, they make sure that you are completely covered. They give you more than enough because they know that these are programs. The speech pathology program and graduate programs in general are just that. They're a program. Not like undergrad where some people work for a semester, then they take a semester off, they work, make money, pay for it. Like, you're signing up for this program and you have to stick with it the whole time because it's so regimented and rigorous, usually, at least for mine. My program it's 2 years, 5 semesters, so it has the summer in between that I'll be taking classes as well. But they make sure that you're covered, and so you can also get your books filed through that if you want as well. Different story, but it is covered if you want it to be. So now FAFSA and financial aid is done. Now you have to go into your school's financial aid area. Because they do give you more than enough money, I made sure to reduce my loan. So this is something I had to figure out the hard way as well. So basically they gave me a bigger amount than I needed. Say I needed $5,000 and they gave me $10,000 for the semester. Let's break it down by semester. So they gave me $5,000. I know this is like really extreme numbers. This is not anywhere close to accurate numbers, but just for this example. So for the semester, it's $5,000 and they gave me $10,000. Basically what comes up in your financial aid is, hey, here's the $5,000 that you paid, and then they send you a check in the mail for the other $5,000 because you didn't use it. I take that check, that $5,000 check, and I put it back into my financial aid account. So I say, hey, start paying off this money that I owe. So that's one option. So I put it back into the account, and you have to go to the financial aid office. You basically sign the check back over to them, and you want to do that because then it reduces the interest you have to pay later, because interest is just you paying for them to hold it. So if there's less for them to hold, less for you to pay. So the other option though is I have summer classes, and financial aid doesn't directly affect summer. It's for the fall and spring semester. So it'll say like 2019-2020 school year. It doesn't really cover the semester, so to speak. It does, they still give you enough money, but because they have that now extra $5,000, I can keep it and put it into an extra savings account. You have to be very diligent with yourself because you don't want to spend that $5,000 and not be able to pay for school. So I took the $5,000 and held on to it. Then when you register for your summer classes and you're all set and they send you the bill, they're like, hey, we want that $5,000 for the summer classes. You're like, well, here you go, already ready to go. It kind of does balance out, and you have to make sure you're doing accordingly. Like I said, if you don't know how to do it, you just go to the financial aid office and they can help you. Because this is how I got all this information, is from financial aid person, because I sure as heck did not know what I was doing with all of this money. And you kind of have to figure it out because it's a lot of money, And I did a lot of calling the financial aid office. So any question I had, I wrote it down, made sure to call and ask somebody, because that's the easiest way to know how your school does things, is just to ask them. The financial aid office is there for you because everybody else is going through the same thing. So it is just best to call and ask. I know a lot of people have a fear of talking on the phone, but guys, they can't see you. They're not going to know who you are. You're probably never going to meet them. So just call and ask the question, and it'll be way worth it in the end because you want to make sure you're doing it right. Once you have logged on to your school's financial aid site, you follow the steps that you have to take through there. Every school has a little bit of a different process, so you have to follow the guidelines. Like I said, they'll email you, so you check your email for your financial aid and for your school email. Just constantly be checking those because they're going to tell you what to do next, if that makes sense. It's pretty easy just because they're like, all right, here's an email, click on this, and continue on from there. All right, here's another email, this is the next step. So it's not too bad. You kind of just have to keep up with it, and then once it's through, the hard part is kind of done. The only thing is that if you are going to do a program that lasts more than 1 year, you do have to refile for financial aid for that year, only because you have to kind of tell them, hey, I'm still in this program, I still need money, help me out. You know, so I think it's kind of ridiculous too, but it is what it is. Yeah, basically that's it for the financial aid side. Okay, so what do I do aside from all this financial aid? Well, I still work. I serve and manage at a restaurant. I chose that job because you can work on the weekends. I make all of my money at once on the weekends, and then I do schoolwork throughout the week. I do babysit on top of that. Every night that I don't have class, I babysit, and so it's just a little bit of extra money, and I can do homework once the child is asleep. So it's kind of like, why not? And it's kind of a stress release, you know, I get to play with kids and let loose a little bit. So that's what works for me. I make sure that I work my butt off on the weekends to get all the money that I need and, you know, spend it accordingly. So that's the other thing, is you don't want to be spending money left and right, because that is money that you worked for. It's hard, but I try to at least spend money where I really, really want it, if that makes sense. So it's kind of just a proactive way to save money as well. So with this money that I am earning, I am saving it. So one way to pay off grad school is to save it. I know this is way harder to do than it sounds, because it's, even for me, it's hard to just be stacking up a savings account or your checking account because you're trying to pay those bills on top of it. So I came across this app that is so helpful. This is not sponsored. I don't have any sponsorships, but I just want to share this with you guys because it is so helpful to me, and I think it could help a lot of you. The app is called Digit. I'll put it over here, but it essentially, what it does is it saves for you. So I know a lot of you, even me, I get skeptical of these kind of things and having them attached to my bank account. I don't even have Venmo. I know. So basically what you do is you attach it to your bank account, and then it takes a little bit of money out at a time. So you can have anything you want to save for, whether it's a rainy day, to travel, for groceries, to pay off a credit card, whatever it is. I just have a little box that says grad school. And so I have one for rainy day, travel, credit card, and grad school. The app does everything by itself. It pulls money out of my bank account according to what's in my bank account. So if I don't have very much in my checking account, it will only pull like 50 cents, $1, something like that. And then I put money in, and then now it will take $5, $10. If I have even more money in, it'll take $20. But I have a cap to it. So I also set every single category to not take out more than $10 at a time, just because I don't want it to wipe out my checking account. But it is, I think it's just really helpful that if there's less money in the account, it's not going to take out all your money. It's keeping track of how much is in there. It helps so much. And then I don't have to be aware of it. It's just constantly saving for me. And every time I go in the app, it'll tell me an update. Hey, I put this much money in this section, and I put this much money towards grad school, and it breaks it down for you. And it's just really, really helpful, because like I said, my program is 2 years. So I started this right when it started, so that this whole 2 years, it's accumulating, and it's just sitting there accumulating. And then on top of that, like with this whole virus going on right now, it can just be an extra savings account. Like, this is still pulling money from my account that I have, and God forbid I run out of money. It's like, oh, I still have this whole other account through the Digit app that I can rely on. I just think it's so helpful because you don't have to think about it. I like things that I don't have to think about and I don't have to tend to. And also, it sends me a text every single morning telling me how much is in my checking account. I can keep track of where money is getting taken out and why, and it will tell you even if it's Digit itself. Hey, I took $5 out of Digit. And sometimes it'll say, hey, this is how much is in your checking account. Yesterday it was this much. Text Y to find out why you have less money or why you have more money in your account, and it will give you a little breakdown. So I think it's really nice too, just to also be a precaution so that people aren't hacking your account, because it will say, hey, your account changed this much, and you can hit Y, and if you didn't spend that money, it's a good indicator that something's wrong. I know many people have that already set up on their account, but still, it's another precaution, so why not? Those are kind of the three, I guess 4 things that I do to pay for grad school. So 1 is apply for financial aid. 2 is I do have a job. I work at the restaurant and I babysit. I babysit for multiple families. So if I can't babysit for one family, usually another needs help anyway. 3 is to spend your money wisely and not spend it on crazy things that you don't really need, because suck it up and be selfish for 2 years, because like I said, you're investing in your education, you're investing in your future. So just don't get that takeout if you really want it. Spend it on groceries and make meals and meal prep instead, you know, and just really try and save your money so that when it does come time to pay for all of this, you're not kicking yourself in the butt because now you have no money. Because also with financial aid, you can defer your payments 6 months until after you graduate. So now you can take that money in that job that you hopefully have, pay all this back. Number 4 is to have a savings account in some shape or form. My form is a regular savings account and the Digit app so that I can save in both places, if that makes sense. Like I said, the savings account I actively do put money into. Like every time I get paid, I'll split it. I'll put some of it in my checking and some of it in my savings so that it's still accumulating, and then I make sure my savings account has enough money in it for the automatic withdrawals of my bills. I have the Digit app that's just doing its thing for me. So number 5 is I do recommend applying for scholarships. It's not always a guarantee that you'll get it, but it's worth a shot. A lot of people do get them. Also, just keeping your grades up in general gets you scholarships from the school because they really want you to keep up those good grades. Those are the things that I recommend and the things that I do. It's really, you have to be paying for it before you're paying for it, because right when those payments come, it's really stressful and it just is like they want their money back right away. So having a plan set up beforehand is really, really essential. Anyways, so that's it. I hope that this was helpful. Let me know in the comments if you have more specific questions that I can answer for you. Also, let me know in the comments of any questions you have in general about grad school that I can answer for you. I can make like a Q&A, or I don't know, whatever you guys want to know, I will tell you, because I wanted to know everything I possibly could beforehand as well. Anyways, I hope this was helpful for you guys. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the thumbs up button. I don't know why people ever say give it a big thumbs up because it's only one size, but whatever. Hit the thumbs up button if you liked this video, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!